Hey, good morning, Facebook and Get Inspired Michiana. This is Diane Bennett and Isaac Hunt, and we are here for Life Inspired. So if you've never watched Life Inspired before, we meet here every Friday morning about 9:30 live on Facebook, and we're just talking about, how and why people are wanting to walk an inspired life and just follow God in their lives. So Isaac's got a great story. We're going to ask 3 questions. It has to do with a turning point moment. Most people have several turning point moments in their lives. Sometimes it's the turning point from when they didn't even know God at all to the, God had something allowed happen in their life that really got their attention and now they're walking with God. Sometimes it's the story of how I was already walking with God and God got my attention and turned my feet to a different direction of, hey, I want you doing this now. So anywhere you are in your walk, Isaac's story might touch you or maybe someone you know. So please share his story with anybody you know. So tell us, Isaac, before your and then God ... moment, what was your backstory? So what was going on in your world?
My backstory, I went to Washington High School.
Okay.
I was dyslexic and didn't know it.
Interesting.
And couldn't read and hardly write or anything. Was watching my little brother get straight A's. He get a B in gym and he cried. And I'm trying to figure out how come I couldn't get the same thing. But it moved me out into the community after I graduated.
Okay.
And I couldn't get a job.
Oh,
Because I couldn't fill out the application. I didn't understand what disability that I had.
Okay.
And I thought I was dumb.
Oh.
So I fell into the streets, right? Looking at the people who were being role models in nice cars and hanging out every day and influenced me.
Okay.
And it's a shame that it influenced me that way because I had a praying mother, right? I was raised in the church, with 7 brothers and my sister. And I ended up following people who was giving negative vibes and getting involved in different things. Like I ended up being involved in shootings and gangs and things of that nature. And I literally had to have, my mother was like, you're gonna die. And you gotta get away from here. So I had a cousin who looked just like me who took the APSAT test for the military. And I joined the military.
And he took the test for you?
Yes, because I couldn't read or write, I would have never passed it.
Right.
And then when I say it was a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Oh, for sure. No, I totally understand.
God was using me at that point. Sergeant, and we was going to Iraq.
Right.
And when I ended up going to jail, my platoon ran over a landmine in Iraq.
So you'd have been dead.
I'd have been dead. I was on the front line. I was what the military called a fool on top of the tank.
Wow.
And I would have died at that moment with all 5 of the individuals that was on the lead tank. And God removed me from that situation.
Yeah, he did.
And he gave me a turnaround.
Right.
Even though it was going to prison, it was an opportunity that I could still live and see my daughter.
Wow.
And one of the things that really happened was that while I was in there, I ended up meeting a pastor from Gary.
Okay.
And I had a friend whose name was Charlie. We called him Charlie Brown.
Oh, okay.
And he was 94 years old.
Wow.
Yes. He got incarcerated when he was 18.
Okay.
They literally brought him to the prison in a horse and carriage. That's how long he had been incarcerated.
Wow.
Yes. And I pushed him around
On like a wheelchair.
in a wheelchair to breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Wow.
And one of the things he used to always tell me, you're not like us. You got a chance to go home to be something productive, and you need to go back to school. And at that point, he didn't know, because I hid it so well that I couldn't read or write. And, well, barely read or write.
Right.
And he kept signing me up for Ivy Tech to go to this heating and air and electricity class. He signed me up for, I got to pass every week to go to Ivy Tech. And he passed after about 4 years of me being there. And I got to pass the next day. And I went down to Ivy Tech, and the pastor told me, I've been waiting on you.
Wow. So a pastor at Ivy Tech said he'd been waiting on
Yes, it was a Gary pastor that taught for Ivy Tech, and he's been waiting for me for 5 years to come.
Because the 94-year-old guy had been telling him
about me the whole time.
Yeah, Isaac's coming.
Yes.
Get ready for Isaac. Oh, I just love that God named you Isaac too.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was amazing because I met him we connected right off the bat. And I was able to he was one of the first people that I was able to be open with. From the time of the incarceration, my life just spiraled and I felt like, there was no end.
Right.
The only place that I could go to less than where I was at was hell.
Right.
And I'm watching my mother cry you know, and I'm watching my aunt pass away and my uncle pass away and missing birthdays and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, what has my life led to?
Right.
And he helped me.
Yeah.
You know, and he told me, the first thing he told me, he said, you believe in God? I said, yes. He said, God got something for you. And he ended up going to talk to the warden. And this is when I found out about dyslexia. They brought a team in from South Bend, and they put me through an assessment, and they found out that I was dyslexic.
Right.
So I literally...
Which means that you see letters backwards and things
Yes.
like that and upside down.
Upside down, backwards, numbers backwards. Literally, if you give me your telephone number, I would literally have to say it back to you 2 or 3 times the last 4 numbers because I would write them backwards or I'll say them backwards in my mind. So they taught me how to reread.
That's crazy.
How it is. And when I started getting it, I was like, oh my God, I'm not dumb.
No, not
You
at
know?
all. Yeah.
And he was using the Bible to teach me.
Which is why you were able to fake it for so long.
Yes.
Because you're not dumb. You were smart enough to figure out some other ways to get around your disability.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience because now I'm so proud of my little brother. He's a doctor.
Wow.
You know, and I got a sister who's an occupational therapist.
Wow.
You know, and I got a brother who's the Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta. He's helped build it and all this type of stuff.
Wow.
And my mother writes poetry and, you know, all this type of stuff. And here I am, the one that's, you know, I'm like, why am I not like them? And
Because God had a special assignment for
he
you.
had a special assignment for me.
Yeah, he
And it
did.
really turned my life around. Because at that point, when I realized I was they diagnosed me and I realized what my issue was, and I started focusing and being able to dissect and go through a paragraph and pick out, if I can't understand the word, I can pick it out now because I understand what's going on.
Right.
They transferred me to another penitentiary, minimum security penitentiary, and I signed up for college. Wow. And the first semester, I didn't have the money to go, and made me an administrative assistant. And the professor paid for my first semester at Indiana State University.
Wow.
You know, and I graduated from there with a 3.57 GPA.
Mister, I can't make any A's.
Yes.
Look at you. Wow.
And I got a chance to work with guys and help them with their GEDs and get into barber school and all this type of stuff. And it changed my life.
Right.
And I started realizing that when you pray and you have faith, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Mm-hmm. And I came home on the mission that I'm not a convict, I'm not a mother, I'm not a murderer. Right. I am a person of God.
Right.
I'm God's son.
Yep.
And my mother always tell me, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to.
There you go. It's not
Yes.
what they call you, it's what you answer to.
Yes.
Meaning, what, I answer to God?
Yeah, it's a God.
There you go.
And I got a chance. So I came home on a mission to keep people from going through what I went through.
Right.
And experiencing and hearing people raped in the middle of the night, stabbed over cigarettes.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
The last execution of Tommy Resinova. I seen them walking him handcuffed and waist shackled to the electric chair, and I kept thinking that could have been me.
Wow. So one thing that you said though early on was you're like, I had a praying mother.
Yes.
So I shouldn't be this way.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? That's all part of your story.
Yes,
It's
yes.
because you had a praying mother. You had to still walk through that story because the ministry you have today, right?
Yes, most definitely.
I mean, it's just all part of your story. So, like, if we got watchers that are in the drudgery, they don't need to be discouraged because it's part of their story too.
Yes, and I look at it and I say, I look at it now and I say, that was my test for my testimony.
Right.
And now when I talk to young men now, I have something relevant that I've experienced.
Right.
And now I can help you not go through what I've been through.
Right.
So that we all can be success.
Right.
You know.
So now you're walking this inspired life. You're involved with several ministries. Can you talk about, what does that look like? What are some of the things God's got you doing? I know you're working with Goodwill. I know you're working with 100 Black Men. What are some of the other stuff you're doing?
Well, I'm the supervisor for the group violence intervention for the city of South Bend.
And what does group violence intervention mean? What do they do?
We work with young men and young women that's involved in gangs and gun activity.
Okay.
And what our job is, I get a chance to be the carrot, not the stick.
Okay. I don't. What's the what's a carrot? What's a stick?
So the stick is the police force.
Oh, okay.
Right? And they're looking, if you committed a crime, you may get incarcerated.
Okay.
But I get a chance to be the intervene.
Okay.
right? To talk to people and try to talk to their spirit, not talk at them, but talk through them.
Uh-huh.
And try to eliminate the barriers and stuff in which they face.
Okay.
And I have an amazing team.
I bet.
I mean, the things that we do and the things that we
Oh.
have helped people in this community
I
with
know.
is amazing.
God is really using goodwill.
And
It's God will,
yes,
right?
That's exactly what it is. And to see young men and young women walk into our offices who have been beat down through trials and tribulations, and to see them smiling a year later.
Oh.
Because we have looked at them, we have said, we are not here to judge you.
Yeah.
We're here to try to help you.
You're my brother or sister.
That's it.
For sure.
So our job is that we do an assessment on them and we find out what barriers they have.
Yeah.
And then we eliminate the barriers.
Okay.
So now you have no more than nothing but an excuse.
Right.
So we have 78 social services that's partnered with us.
Okay.
And we have people with resumes, cover letters, child support, all that type of stuff, and help them get a full-time job in the community.
Right.
But also it's about a wraparound service. So if I help a young man, he has to still go home.
Right.
So we got to work with this family too, so we can change the narrative
Right.
of the
right.
whole nucleus
right.
of the family.
Right.
And that's the great part about it, because now we see families that was one way before, and because we've been able to assist and God has allowed us to be able to intervene, now we are seeing them walking in a whole total different direction.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, so I do always like to ask my guests, because we have lots of watchers, and each one of us was designed and created to connect with God.
Right.
And every one of us has a different way of connecting with God, just like a footprint or a retinal scan or whatever. So, but some look more similar to others.
Right.
So I like to ask, how do you connect with God? What is it that you do to stay inspired daily? Or do you read your Bible and pray?
Yes.
Do you go for walks? What is like quiet time or whatever look like for you? How do you stay connected and inspired?
I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people, I have a friend by the name of Perry Watson.
Okay.
He owns the Lexus dealership in Mishawaka.
Okay.
And one of the things that he told me he does is he said, you don't know why I'm rich. This is why I'm rich. When you're asleep, I'm up. I'm already preparing for my day.
Okay.
So when you're asleep at 5 o'clock, I'm up at 5. I done read and prayed and planned my whole day out before I leave the house.
Wow.
Where you'll walk in the door and now you want to pray when you should have prayed before you got there.
Wow.
So every morning I pray, you know what I'm saying, and I study and I read my Bible. During the day, whenever I get a chance, I open up on my phone.
Right.
But it's just the love of God.
Right.
And what he brought me through.
Right. Right.
That just keeps me inspired.
Right.
To be a gentleman who has served time in the penitentiary, to be able to be a general manager of a Fortune 500 company, to start a charter school,
Right.
to be the head of a social services, to work with the 100 Black Men mentoring young men,
Right.
To travel around the country to talk about the great work that we're doing in this city.
Right.
It's awesome, and it's nothing but God.
Right.
It's nothing but God, because I'm seeing young men who's been through the same thing I've been through, and their path is different.
Right.
So God has his hands on me, and I thank him and I love him, and we getting the chance to really, really make a difference in this community with our young men and young women.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes,
That's so
through the
awesome.
work.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Very cool. So Facebook, thank you guys for watching. And I know that Isaac would talk to you if you know someone that should meet Isaac, have a cup of coffee with Isaac or anything like that. Message us here. We'll get you connected. Or if you know somebody that should sit on the couch and tell their story and inspire others, we'd love to know those people too. So message us for that. And share Isaac's story.
And they can contact me at Goodwill.
Oh, yeah. You can just reach out straight to Goodwill and just contact Isaac right there.
Yes.
Or, check out 100 Black Men. Is there like a website for 100 Black Men?
Yes, it is. 100 Black Men of Greater South Bend.
Okay.
Yes.
.com.
.com.
Okay, so and it's the number 100.
Yes.
So 100 Black Men of Greater South Bend.com. So if you want to check out that ministry, that's
Yes.
awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great day. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you
Appreciate
too.
it. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.